So this article just came out from Variety yesterday, and it infuriated me when I read it. Headline says, Axed Boba Fett movie was a, quote, borderline R-rated spaghetti western that probably scared the blank out of everyone, says James Mangold. Now, just the headline alone makes me mad because I think about how, if you've seen 310 to Yuma, James Mangold's western, it's freaking awesome. So to see that, but with Boba Fett, would have been so much better than what we got. But let's continue on and read the article. James Mangold is moving on to direct a Star Wars tentpole. Yeah, we'll see if that happens. Following Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, but it's not his first go-around with the Lucasfilm franchise. Back in 2018, news broke that Mangold had been hired to direct a movie about the bounty hunter Boba Fett. He was also set to co-write the project with Simon Kinberg, best known as writer and producer on the X-Men movies. Mangold's Boba Fett movie never got off the ground, and he recently said on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast that it wasn't too surprising given the overall tone of the project. Quote, at the point I was doing it, I was probably scaring the blank out of everyone, Mangold said. Quote, I was making much more of a borderline R-rated, single-planet spaghetti western. That makes me so mad to hear. They probably would never, because we didn't get it, they probably would never be able to embrace Baby Yoda if I'd made that. That's true. It didn't really belong in the world I was kind of envisioning. Mangold's Baby Yoda reference brings up the more family-friendly tone of Star Wars, such as The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett, which is how Lucasfilm and Disney decided to continue the story of Boba Fett, as opposed to Mangold's standalone movie, and we all know how that turned out. Mangold knew his darker approach would probably scare off Lucasfilm execs, which is baffling to me, considering there's plenty of dark things in Star Wars. I mean, stuff in the Clone Wars, which is a kid's cartoon technically, there's beheadings in that. There's really dark stuff. There's child slavery. But it was the eventual box office failure of Solo that put a pin in his Boba Fett movie. In a moment of corporate realignment or whatever happened with the Han Solo movie, that's a nice way of saying it bombed. They just suddenly decided they weren't making pictures like that, and the opportunities in streaming presented themselves, Mangold said. I was listening to spaghetti western composer Ennio Morricone, R.I.P., all day, all night, and typing away. Man, the potential there is just gone. I'm not sure it would ever have happened. I'm not sure it was in anyone's plans what I was thinking. Mangold is getting a second chance at Star Wars with a new movie that will track the origins of the Force, which I don't know if anyone's looking forward to that, because they're going to continue to butcher the EU. The director has said his new project is inspired by biblical epics such as the Ten Commandments. Quote, when I mentioned to Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy the idea that I had about going backward, really far backward, I was surprised that it excited her and the other wonderful people she works with at Lucas. Why would he be surprised that she would be hyped for that? She's already steamrolled the era that we all wanted to see, the sequel era. And so if she has the chance to go back and steamroll the ancient past of Star Wars, I'm sure she'll jump at that chance. For me, it's about I want to be part of the saga, but I also don't want to be holding so much lore in the air that you can hardly tell a story. And what I really wanted to do, what I told her, was just, can we make a kind of the Ten Commandments of the Force, a kind of origin story of how the Force came to be known, understood, wielded, and harnessed? Mangold's Force origin story does not have a release date. And then there's the quote. It says, a moment of silence, please. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that sounds awesome because as much as I didn't like Indy 5, this guy's made some great movies. Logan is great. I hear Ford v Ferrari is great. I haven't seen it, though. 310 to Yuma is really good. Walk the Line. He's got a good repertoire. And the idea of a rated R Western Boba Fett movie is what we all wanted. That's what I envisioned a long time ago, and a lot of fans. And instead we got this watered-down PG crap in the Book of Boba Fett that ruins his character, and it still pisses me off to think about. This is the problem with having Star Wars be owned by Disney. Disney is afraid to take those kind of risks and make R-rated stuff. Because if this was owned by Fox or Universal, well, Fox before they were bought, then we probably would have got this. But my big issue, though, with him making a Force, this is completely unrelated to this article, but I really don't want anyone making a Force origin movie that isn't George. George was originally going to explore the origins of the Force in the sequel trilogy, and the fact that was thrown out by Kathleen Kennedy, and now she wants to actually do it for real, but with someone else, it's I swear this lady has a grudge against George and Spielberg. It's the only thing that makes sense. But yeah, I guess this movie joins the pile of dead, awesome sounding potential Star Wars stuff we could have got, just like 1313. That's what it reminds me most of because that was a Boba Fett game. So yeah, not exactly happy news, but I just thought people would be interested in hearing about this. So let me know what you think. And did you like Book of Boba Fett? Because I certainly didn't. Leave a comment and go check out my indie discussion if you're interested in that too. But until next time, thank you for watching. Peace out.